Hi, welcome to the workshop, and today we are looking at Accurascale's brand new Class 66 in 00 gauge. Now Mike, the Class 66 from Accurascale, there is a plethora coming out. Talk me through it.
Right, so I think we need to start at the beginning of the story with these, because this model originally started with Hattons. So Hattons created the original tooling. Accurascale took it on about 18 months ago, and they then reworked some of the elements of the tooling to correct some of the problems that were with the original batch. So little things like, for example, the first batch from Hattons, they had a problem with the rotating axle boxes coming off, and then they'd disappear into your layout. They fixed all those little problems. They made a number of other improvements to them as well, and corrections to them across the board, and made sure they've got a tooling suite which is fit to cover as many different possible varieties of Class 66 as possible. Because whilst you might say, well, a shed's a shed, it looks like a 66, whatever it is, there are so many different detail variations in these locomotives now, with there being so many different locomotives running on the railway.
And of course, so many different liveries to choose from as well.
Yes. So when these first arrived in 1998 on the British Railway Network, they were seen as being a bit of a negative thing, because all of a sudden we've got this 250 locos commissioned by EWS, which are all going to be the same, and they're going to replace all our favourite traction, things like Class 37s, 56s, 60s, all were on the writing was on the wall for all those. But I think fast forward 25 years, which is now how long it is since the first of these went into traffic, and actually it's become a bit more of a following now, actually quite a big following for the Class 66, and I think a lot of that has come from because of the fact that actually they've got lots of different liveries on them. So whilst there are two 66s the same, sometimes it feels when you buy the real railway that actually no two 66s are the same anymore.
You mentioned before that there's loads of differences between the Class 66, but they've also got loads of differences in the models they produce as well, haven't they?
Yeah, that's right. So the original locomotives 66001 to 250 were all basically the same when they were built originally. They've had some later modifications. They've quite a lot of them got wing mirrors, like on 66004, which we've got running on the layout today. There's changes to the cab window arrangements as well on different batches. Freightline was next to commission Class 66s, and they had the 66.5s and 66.6s. And then the 66.9s, which are the low emissions ones with different roof grills, different underframe components, and an extra set of steps as well. Then you've got the GBRF collection, which are the 66/7s, but even within the Class 66/7 fleet, there are variations again with different lighting components on them as well. And particularly with some of the most recent ones actually having been brought back from Europe and been modified to work on the British Railway Network, which brings even more variations to lighting functions on them as well. There's then differences in the cab's interiors as well, and difference to the buffer beam components, just so many little detail differences on these locos.
So arguably you could buy almost an entire fleet of what Accurascale has to offer, and no two of them are going to be the same.
Quite possibly, yeah, because that's the other really nice thing with this as well, is the tuning suite is very comprehensive for these as well, so they can do all the detail variations between different locomotives. And
the livery option as well that Accurascale is bringing out, arguably there's no 66 that's the same that they're producing.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's starting right at the first locomotive, 66001, which has some detail differences, and going right through to 66779, which is the last to be built, and loads of liveries in between as well. I mean, we've got, like I say, EWS original livery, we've got unbranded EWS, we've got DB Schenker and DB Cargo current liveries. We've got the Climate Hero unique livery on 66004 here. We've got DRS ones coming, GBRF ones, and variations within that as well.
And there's a few special liveries that they're bringing out as well.
Yes, right. Yes, they're doing a couple of special editions to support different charities as well. So one of those is the prostate cancer livery Class 66. That's been done to raise money for the prostate cancer charity. And they're also doing 66415 You're Never Alone to raise money for the Samaritans as well.
Well, let's talk about the actual model itself with all the detail. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that getting access to the DCC decoder is actually very simple, but it's also a very clever design.
It is, yeah. We're seeing this more and more now on modern models, and actually it's got a removable section of the roof on the Class 66. So very much like the real thing in a way, because actually all the roof panels on the Class 66 are removable because they're simple to maintain. So what they've done is they've used the area where the exhaust silencer is to create a removable panel where you can get direct access straight into the 21-pin decoder socket underneath that. They've also revised how the whole body comes off as well to make it easier than the original models from Hatton's, which had some of the step handles that are a little bit complicated to get off on the original batch. So if you do need to get in there to put, for example, a full sound suite of your own there with your own choice of speaker, it is now easier to take the main body off as well.
And as far as the mechanism within the body, what's powering these models?
So you've got your classic 5-pole CAN motor at the centre, driving through twin flywheels out to each bogie. All axles are powered. You've got a 21-pin decoder socket which takes charge of all the electronics inside the locomotive. And then you've got a full suite of operational lights which can be managed independently through DCC as well. Or if you're working with analog control, you've got little switches on the PCB blank, which means you can turn off the tail lights manually with a little screwdriver, or you can turn off the cab lights, etc, etc.
And for those people who love to hear the roar of a 66, what about the sound profiles available?
Right, so they've created their own bespoke sound files for the Class 66, and they'll be pre-installed. So you'll have the choice of either buying them DCC ready, or you can have them DCC sound fitted direct from Accurascale and its retailers as well. That's got a big, powerful bass speaker in there, as well as a little sugar cube, so you've got a nice mix of sounds in there as well in terms of the levels of sound they're able to create. Well, yeah, it's a great package if you want to have sound in them.
Well, I know there's a lot of people out there who are thinking to themselves, when are these going to come out? So let's talk about when they're going to be available and how much they're going to be sold for.
Right, so they're currently due to arrive towards the end of March, and they'll be in stock then with Accurascale itself and its stockists. So if you've got pre-orders in, they'll get sorted out as soon as they're in stock. Prices are set at $169.99 for the DCC ready versions and $259.99 for the DCC sound fitted versions.
Wonderful. Well, look, if you love your Class 66, no matter what livery, I'm sure that there is a model or two or more out there for you. And of course, you can read the full review on the Accurascale Class 66 in our recent edition of Hornby magazine, which is HM202, our April edition.
Or you can head over to Key Model World, where you can read the full feature online as well, together with all our features on the Class 66.
Absolutely. But look, in the meantime, thank you for watching the video, and we'll see you next time.